Hello, good morning, and welcome back to the Football Terrace. Thank you very much for tuning in. We're here to talk Zaha. Tottenham is a rumour that's circulating this morning. Of course, the transfer window has now been open for a matter of 24 hours, and it's already going into overdrive. There's a Jack Grealish update we wanted to give you as well. And a lot of people have been sending us direct messages wanting to have an update on the Jadon Sancho situation. Not much has really changed since yesterday, although Fabrizio Romano has given us a bit of an update himself. So we're going to go through some of that. But of course, the most important element is, why we're here, why we exist, is for you to have a voice, for you to have your say, for you to express yourself and tell us what's going through your mind in relation to these transfers. As you know, we'll be live 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a day throughout this process when rumors start to circulate, when odds change with the bookies, whatever it may be. We're just here to be that sounding board for you. But before we go any further, please hit the like button. I cannot express to you how important it is. If you want us to be able to continue doing these shows for you, providing you these updates, giving you the platform to be able to express yourself, talk, call in, leave your comments, please hit that like button right now. And of course, get your questions in. We always prioritize member chats or super chats just because those people donate for that privilege. But we'll try and go through as many as possible. Thank you, Sean Williams, for your message there. We'll start off with the Jack Grealish story because I know a lot of people will tune in for that. The Jack Grealish one is where I expected it to be at this point, if I'm being completely honest. Jack Grealish has a market valuation of a medium valuation of between 50 and 55 million pounds with the leading sports consultancies across Europe. Anyone who's buying him would have got him under market value should Villa have been relegated. The fact that Villa have kept themselves in the Premier League, Jack Grealish in their eyes being an important part of that, and of course 3 to 4 teams being interested in the signature of Jack Grealish, now means they can try their best to push the sale price beyond the market value. And it is important to learn the difference between a sale price or a market price and market value in a football player. The value is where the professionals see the player value. That my and your valuation is almost irrelevant in this because half the time we're not factoring in the key elements that make up the valuation of a player. And then you put the price on top of that, and the price has ramifications depending upon where they're going. There are all sorts of weird and wonderful kind of facets to this, things like sporting potential, marketability, the commercial impact that a particular player may have upon your club. All of this will dictate, plus scarcity. How many players that are similar to Jack are available who are Premier League proven will push the price up for a Premier League side as opposed to a La Liga side or a Serie A side that we're looking at Jack Grealish. The moment it appears that Villa are trying to get 80 million pounds for their man, which is, and I have to say, it's a colossal amount of money. It's a huge amount of money, 80 million pounds. However, don't allow yourselves to be dragged into this sort of farcical fallacy debate of he's not worth it, it's a waste of money. Van der Beek's available for 40 million. One, does Van der Beek want to join Manchester United? Is he actually available for 40 million? Is he Premier League proven? Those three questions need to be placed before you even look at moving forward. As an example, they all need to be discussed and thought about. If Man United can't get Van der Beek for whatever reason, it becomes a non-starter as a debate. Equally, Man United are very unlikely to pay 80 million pounds for Jack Grealish. Villa are trying to get as much money as they can for their star player. And this is going to become a very interesting one because Jack Grealish himself has already expressed that he's a little bit worried that a deal for him to move away will not happen if he's priced out of it. That will play into the buyer's hands because Jack Grealish at some point will start to put pressure on. If he does hand in official transfer requests, if he does refuse to return back to training, I'm sure he doesn't want to because he respects Villa. They're his boyhood club. At the same time, they're not going to want to be that thorn in his side. Most Villa fans, if they put their hand on their heart, would probably be happy to see Jack Grealish get an opportunity at a big club. And why would they not? They've raved about him for years. They know that they're never, in my opinion, going to be able to offer him the same opportunities that a Man United or a Tottenham or a Liverpool could do. But as far as it stands right now, Jack Grealish wants to move. All signs appear to say that Man United, 1, are after him. 2, he's eager to join Ollie's team in the Man United revolution. The sticking point at the moment is the price. Villa want £80 million. Man United are going to pay absolutely nowhere near that. I would say it's going to be a good 25 to 30% below that asking price that'll end up being agreed. And I suppose then you get into the realms of if it is 55 million to 60 million pounds value for money when it comes to Jack Grealish. My opinion is yes, every single day of the week is excellent value. There's no doubt about it in my mind. I think that Jack Grealish, he is Premier League proven, and I know people might look at his last few months and be like, "Oh, you know what? He didn't score. He only scored one goal." Yeah, okay. And yes, he was in a team fighting relegation. Okay. You only got to look at him, his ability, his skill, his technique. One of the biggest creators of open play chances. So not including corners and set pieces, open play chances in Europe this season. I would love to see that in the Man United kit. And I hope that we can get a deal done. And I'd be very, very, very pleased to say that happen. And remember, mine and your valuation doesn't really matter. What you've got to remember is this: the leading sports consultants have him valued at around £55 million. And that's that's almost the barometer that clubs use. They use these consultancies to make sure it's going forward. Terry, did you see Craig Burley's outburst after Ollie's response to criticism? I haven't, and I'll have a look at it. I'm not even. Do you know what? I'm not even. The last few days, I've decided I'm not even worried about people criticizing Ollie. I was saying I saw Neeks tweeted something out last night and was talking about particular YouTubers. Same thing. So many people are having to eat humble pie. We put out a little video yesterday on Twitter of True Drawdy the other day saying that it's not a good achievement for United to finish top four. They all put Man United in the top four themselves. And it's like, well, there's video evidence of you saying you think they're going to fall out the top six. What's happened is people thought Man United were going to bomb this season and they turned it round. And people can't accept that. And Ollie is now kind of sticking two fingers up at them and it's annoying them. And for me, that's why I'm backing Ollie even more. It's absolutely amazing. I want goals. Says 60 million is fine, but 80 million is just dumb. If two or three other clubs come in for Jack Grealish and start bidding above 60 million pounds, that's when you get into that realm of maybe having to pay it. And it depends as whether or not we can find and land somebody with equal ability that can come in and do what Jack Grealish can. And the bit you got to look at is not what you could do in a computer game. What could we plausibly bring in? We had this conversation last year. Are there better defenders out there than Maguire for the money? Who? And were they attainable? And if they're not attainable, they cannot be signed, then the fact that you think they're better is inconsequential. And that's what you have to start to understand as football fans. It isn't just about who you rate and I rate, who you think is better. You've got to be able to buy them. If they're unattainable, if you cannot get them, it's an irrelevance. Next up, we're going to talk a little bit about Wilfried Zaha being linked with there's another Jack Grealish bit actually here. I was reading this morning here. So Jack Grealish has been warned that he will not start every week if he seals a move to Manchester United, according to The Independent. He says Aston Villa playmaker Jack Grealish is a target of Man United boss Solskjaer, but competition for places means his place wouldn't be a guarantee. Solskjaer is intent on adding depth to his squad, and after qualification for the Champions League, freed the club to embark on more ambitious transfer plans. United were going to do that anyway. The fact we're in the Champions League, the fact that we need to be able to rotate, Jack Grealish is going to get plenty opportunities. There is no doubt about that whatsoever. Kai Havertz's latest, only an agreement on the transfer fee is holding up the move. That's going to happen. What we said yesterday, it could be hours away, it could be days away. Very, very close to being done. Chelsea fans relax when it comes to Kai Havertz. Where's this Zaha news? I wanted to move here. Everton are looking at making a move for him. But here it says Zaha back to join Spurs here. It says former Crystal Palace owner Simon Jordan admits that he can see Zaha joining Spurs this summer. Palace boss Roy Hodgson said after his draw with Spurs on the final day of the season that Zaha must find a solution to the dilemma of the forward's future. Let me ask Spurs fans, if we have any tuning in, would you take him? Do Spurs fans want Zaha? Is he good enough for you? And I'm asking that as a genuine question. I'm genuinely interested in what you think and feel in relation to that. I really, really do. Oh, hang on a second. Somebody Oh, someone's actually sent. Hang on, I've got. You might be able to hear this. It's Craig Burley's outburst.
Because what should we be getting the streamers out and the pom because they finished third place and 33 points behind Liverpool, 15 points behind Man City, who were hopeless by their standards, who had a half a defence for the majority of the season. They couldn't defend. They played Fernandinho back there for 50% of the season. And we want to get this is brilliant. Manchester United. Sorry, Robbo, but they have the same amount of points, 66, as they had the season before, when Solskjaer had 6 months in the job. So please spare me don't start praising.
Yo, Craig Burley, you're a clown.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. See, as I'll go to your super chat in a minute, mate. See, what I love about Craig Burley's outburst there is the fact that that's anger because you got your predictions so wrong. And no, nobody says we should have the streamers out. This is where, again, this is exaggeration. When people exaggerate, when people twist or change context, you know they're rattled. You know they're rattled. So Man United fans are not celebrating. Ollie and Man United are not celebrating because we think coming third is the end game. We've made it. It shows progression. Equally, every time you see a manager struggling in the Premier League, you'll see it next season, whether it's relegation or teams that should be pushing at the top. You'll see people say, oh, it looks like they've lost the dressing room. You never see a manager turn it around from this point. Nobody thought Ollie could turn it around at Christmas. Everyone thought it's done for him now. I fell into that stupidly. Ollie then turned it around and recovered. It's the recovery that's getting no praise from these people. And because Ollie's called them out, they're panicking. Now, nobody's saying the overall season in itself was brilliant because we know the first half was poor, but the recovery and the turnaround needs to be identified as wow. Without that, they wouldn't be here. And it wasn't like a 1 month turnaround. It wasn't like a 5-6 game where spurt. You're talking January through till the end of the season, which in real money is like 4 months, which was over 22 games. That's a fair body of work. It's almost half a season. Teams will play around 50 odd games per season, 55. You're talking around 40% of the season it was turned around for. That is why people are triggered. Equally, I saw Arsenal fans saying yesterday, Man United fans used to bemoan us for celebrating top four. Now you are. No. You were celebrating top four as part of your decline. We're celebrating getting back into the top four as we can see trajectory moving up. Context is key. Azza here says, any news on Kapak? No, nothing on that at the moment, mate. We'll do a little bit of research into that update later on in the week on that. Comment here from Tom Wright says, Spurs can't afford him. Listen, on Spurs not being able to afford Zaha, honestly, I mean, this is a real quick. How much do you think he's worth? Like, truly, how much do you actually think Zaha is worth? If anybody's looking at spending any more than, say, £40 million on Zaha, they're off their rocker. Like, they're off their rocker. That's his level, bruv. He's 40 million tops, even in this market. 40 million tops. In my very, 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 very humble opinion. That's where I would put him. Comment here from Sean says, people keep saying it wasn't Ollie, it's Bruno. So it's not Klopp, it's Virgil van Dijk and Alisson. It's not Pep, it's KDB and Laporte. Exactly. Listen, don't be dragged into those nonsense debates. You know, when you want to put down a manager, you say it's all about the players. But equally, if it's all about Bruno that made us better, then it must have been all about the other players that made us bad. If you don't credit the manager when we improve, you know, a lot of this is what I said yesterday. Martial FC fanboys are pulling their hair out at the moment. They're pulling their hair out because they can't understand why. They hate Ollie with a vengeance. Trash manager, no tactics, dinosaur, freestyle football. But yet their boy, their favorite in Anthony Martial has had his best ever season, has improved beyond recognition. And it annoys them because they know that it's Ollie's coaching. But nobody wants to give Ollie praise for improving him. And that's where their arguments fall down. That's where they fall down. Let's see if Sancho is worth 120 million easy. He's a future star. Pay whatever Dortmund want. Yeah, listen, on Jadon Sancho, we're going to talk about him in a few moments' time. I'm just looking here. I want to look at this. Jack Grealish this season in the Premier League. You got to think Palace are a better team. Palace are definitely a better team than I can't remember their names now. Definitely a better team than Villa have been this year. 73 chances created this season by Jack Grealish. Okay, and I know this isn't, you don't just go by what people create as chances. I just want to compare that to Zaha. I want to see what Zaha did in comparison to him when we're talking about price of these individuals. Now, he's definitely a better dribbler. I'm not even going to. Well, actually, I don't even know if he is. See, the difference is 31 chances created by Zaha. So when you look at Jack Grealish, some people, I see the same people I see say that Jack Grealish is this overrated Englishman, right? Not worth more than 30, 40 million. These are the same people that would pay 60, 70 for Zaha. I'm about the outputs. Jack Grealish creates over double the amount of outputs, double the amount of opportunities that Zaha does. We even look at dribbling, right? This season, Wilfried Zaha attempted 445 dribbles, 52% of them came off, as an example. Let's look at Jackie Grealish. Jackie Grealish, by the way, the most fouled player in the Premier League this season, as an example. That's also something that's worth looking at, right? We look at him in terms of dribble success. Now, didn't attempt as many dribbles, 260 dribbles attempted, but a 60% completion rate. My argument is I think he actually, I look at the two things. The volume of chances that are created by Grealish versus the amount of successful dribbles. I think he's actually attempting these dribbles in much better situations. Scored double the amount of goals. For me, 110%, I'd pick Jack Grealish over him. And if you think that Grealish is worth 50, you can't think that Zaha's worth any more than 25, 30, in my opinion. But yeah, on the Sancho situation, again, that's just in a point where United are putting together a package. United, at some point in the next day or so, are going to submit an £80 million bid plus add-ons that will equate to about 95 to £100 million. It will then be down to Dortmund to go through that. My understanding is that Dortmund are also looking for a speedy resolution on this. So if Man United put in the right kind of bid early enough, they can get this deal done. They're going to get this deal done. It's as simple and as straightforward as that to me. I don't think there's too much. I don't feel like there's too much to kind of debate on that in many, many ways. It's just one of those things to me where I feel like United just got to get the right offer in. If Man United can announce Sancho pretty soon as well, that's going to be amazing. It's going to be absolutely amazing. There's a comment here that says there's a good chance that negotiations between Dortmund and Man United for Sancho will last all summer as the transfer of Harry Maguire and Bruno Fernandes at United. There are some people that think that. There's another comment here that's come out. This is from Fabrizio Romano, who says, today's many said a bid had been submitted to Bayern Munich, but nothing has yet. Always said it needs time. Give some more time for Man United board and we'll know what is happening with Jadon Sancho. That is what Fabrizio Romano has said. It's a tweet that's come out from the Stretford paddock. A comment here from James Cooper at Sky. So there's no doubt that Man United's number one target is Jadon Sancho. And they've ticked a massive box having Champions League football because that's an attractive for someone like him. And I think it's perhaps a deal that can be done. Interestingly, that was the one kind of area that, United won't be able to get the deal done. No Champions League football, blah, 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 all this kind of chat. For me, I never thought Champions League football was even an issue, even a problem. But from my point of view, the fact we've got it, that was the last kind of detractive article you would read about it in relation to that. Other news, there was also links with Zaha going to Everton as well. That's in the Mirror today, which I think was interesting. Another comment here. This is about Jack Grealish. This is a comment from Darius Vassell, who says former Aston Villa and Liverpool striker Darius Vassell believes that Jack Grealish has outgrown Aston Villa. He says Villa fans are not going to like me saying it, but he's almost outgrown and is too good. It's always Jack that is expected to come up with the goods in football matches, and I think that is truly, and that to truly test himself and how good he can be, he needs to play football in Europe. Villa obviously are aspiring to get there, but they might need a few more seasons, be a few more seasons away from that. So for Jack, if he wants to get there soon, he might have to think about leaving. And I think that's really important. That's really important for football fans to understand what Vassell is saying there. It's not about attacking Villa, trying to make them feel bad about themselves, trying to be negative or anything like that. It's about being realistic. He's 24 years of age. Football players, 32, 33 is about the average age where you start to decline. You're no longer at the peak of your powers. This boy's got 8 years. He's got 8 years left on average in the game. And who knows what is around the corner for him. Can he afford to spend more? I've said the same thing about Harry Kane for a couple of years now. How much longer can these players stay at these clubs that don't win anything? Do me a big favor before we go any further. Please hit that like button for me. It's really, really important that you get that done. Nearly 1,000 people tuning in, which is amazing. Please all smash that like button now. One of my members here, McAutley, says, I'd love Grealish, Sancho, and Gabriel and Rice to get linked to Man United. That would be the best window since 2016. I agree. Indiana says we need Grealish. Bruno can't play every game. Plus, Bruno picks up loads of cards. Jack will start games. Facts. Lots to play for next season. And we need quality off the bench. Commercially, Jack is also good. I agree with you, Indiana. I couldn't agree with you more. That the commerciality aspect is so important. And he will get game time. Look at it. Look at this run we've had in recent weeks. I'd have killed for a Jack Grealish in 4 or 5 of those games to start instead of Bruno, to start instead of Rashford, because it gives us great quality, but it means you can rest some of your stars. Imagine we're struggling in a game. It's 1-1. We're away from home against a decent team. And, maybe Rashford's just, he's got a goal, but he's looking tired. Imagine bringing on Jack Grealish for the last 20 minutes. And then, do you know what? Then you have a midweek Champions League game. Well, do you know what? Jack Grealish, you're going to start this for us. Are we as nervous seeing Jack Grealish start instead of Rashford or Bruno as we are if it's Lingard or if it's Pereira? That's what you've got to look at. Great strength in depth. He'll get opportunities. But I also think Jack Grealish possesses the ability to oust these players. He possesses the ability to grow. And we want to see how good he's going to become. And I want to see as an Englishman how good he's going to become as well. Joash here says, I think United need more creative fullbacks to compete with City and Liverpool. See, I don't necessarily agree. I think if you throw in Jack Grealish and Sancho's, you're getting creativity from your wide players. Getting goals, but you're getting creativity from them. That means you can then get you can rely more on the defensive attributes of your defenders. What we don't need to do is just go and copy what other clubs are doing. Let's do it our own way. As much as I like the swagger and leadership of Grealish, but Van der Beek is 40 million will be a bargain. Do you know what? I agree. But if both wanted to sign right now, I would, and I could only choose one, I would pick Van der Beek personally. But why not get both? Both are versatile. Both can play 2 or 3 positions. Both would make out. I mean, can you imagine that? Can you imagine our main midfield and attacking options being Pogba, Matic, Bruno, Van der Beek, Grealish, Rashford, Sancho, Greenwood, Martial? That's out of this world and affordable. You throw in like a little 30 million pounder for Gabriel at the back as well. We go into next season super strong. 30 odd mil for Gabriel, 70 mil when you include Van der Beek. You then move that up to 120, 130 mil for Jack Grealish. You then throw in the 90 mil for Sancho, 210, 220 million pounds. Pay half of it out now in cash deposits to everybody. Pay the rest over a 4-year period of amortization. How you offset that is you sell the players that are currently deadwood or out of here. You raise 50 odd million pounds in sales for those players. You raise somewhere between 48 and 52 million pound a year in salaries you save. By the way, it looks like Inter want to keep Alexis Sanchez. Sell him 5, 6, 7 million. Absolutely cool. That raises a bit of cash. But you get what we take off the books of his salary in terms of his salary at 350 grand a week. That covers Grealish's and Sancho's salary collectively. The money is there, plus this Champions League football. Big incoming for us. Big opportunity, no doubt at all. Van der Beek can play multiple positions. Grealish has got one position. Well, that's not true. Jack Grealish can play all over the park. Jack Grealish's heat maps prove that. He predominantly drifts out to that left, but he can play 10. He can play a 10 roll and drift to the left. He can start on the left. He's got at least 2 to his game. There's no doubt about it. He can play as part of a midfield 3 as well if he needs to. And listen, by the way, that's a dream to sign all 4 of those players. It's an absolute dream. But that's what I would love to. That's what I would love for us to go and see. And remember, that's what I want. It doesn't mean that's what my expectation is. There's a difference between having a dream and having an expectation. My expectation is at least 3 players. What I would like is 4, but it's more likely to be a Sancho, a Grealish, or a Van der Beek and a defender. You know, you want to get real. Interestingly, as well, if we don't get Van der Beek, I would still be looking at someone like Thomas Partey. £45 million he's available for. That's a snip. It's a deal. It's a bargain. Get it done, United. But again, this is what I want. We have to wait. Whatever happens, I'll trust Ollie, and we'll see how it comes into fruition as an example. But listen, everyone who's tuned in this morning, thank you. Do me a big favor, hit the like button, hit the share button. Please hit the retweet button as well if you're watching on Twitter. But until next time, take care of yourselves. Goodbye, God bless, and we'll see you all soon.